Hello and welcome. This is my 1001 Red Wiggler Cocoon bin that I have split twice already, but this is the original one. And you recall that I am doing a horizontal migration. Okay, there we go. Because I want to remove the castings and use the bin in full like I did before, but I decided that I'm going to do it a little bit differently. So normally I feed the worms on one side and then I remove the castings and fill up the bin with new bedding and new food. But this time I decided that I wanted to change up the actual bin because the rest of my bins, the ones that I did the split in, are 10 gallon and this is 14 gallon. So I decided that I had an empty 10 gallon bin, so I got it ready. It just has some nice bedding that has been sitting for about 3-4 weeks, and it's nice and moist and lots and lots of microbial activity in here. So I'm just going to, instead, we'll be removing the worms, and then I'm going to sift out the castings. So I did feed it, and I know that these guys, oh yeah, these guys have migrated beautifully. Can you tell they love watermelon? And this is already after this bin has been split twice. So we started with 1001 Red Wiggler cocoons from Emily, the crazy worm lady. And they did a beautiful job hatching and multiplying. So I'm going to try to just get these guys with this bedding, just move them to the new bin carefully, right there. It's quite a lovely sight, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely. Worms, worms, worms. So I'm just gonna lay them face down. I'm not gonna give this any more food. I'm just going to be transferring all this new bedding, and you can see how much of it is already composted by these guys. So let me do that. Let me transfer all this material to this bin, and I will show you what I'm going to do with the remaining castings. Okay, so I cleared out the area with the worms, and they're all here in their new 10-gallon bin, but actually this is the original 1001 cocoons, so we have a larger number here than we do in our split bins, but they'll be happy. They have plenty of food and they have plenty of bedding, and the microbial life is, like I said, it's very, very active in this bin, so they're good to go. And what I'm going to do in this one is I'm going to, fluff it up a little bit from the bottom. I mean, you can see that it's really nice. It's very flaky. Before I sift it, I want to just turn it over a couple of times, see if I can find any more worms at the very bottom, which I probably will. And then I'll take it out back and sift it out. Okay, so finally, this is what we have left. I got the worms out. There were plenty at the bottom. I was surprised how many. And now we can sift this out. And if there are any worms or cocoons or whatever, any unprocessed material, it'll all go right back. The sifter will catch it and it'll go right back for another round. Now, Normally, I would use this sifter basket that I got, and I think it was Office Depot. But I found something just like this, except bigger. This is like a little organizer. I found it in Lowe's in the closet organizing section. And the holes are, I mean, the same. They're like 1/8 inch holes. But the capacity, you can see that it holds a lot. So I can just dump this whole thing in here and sift away, both hands of course. But this is where I keep the castings. You can see they've got wheels. This is 45 gallon. This is where I used to keep my African night crawlers and European night crawlers. So once it gets halfway full with castings, then I can just pick it up, wheel it out to my garden, and make use of it. So let me dump this material. I'll need both hands to do it. It's heavy. And then we'll sift it away. And here it is, empty. It's all been sifted out into the large container here, and you can see what I have left. This is just bedding. I did find 7 worms, and they went right back to the original bin. But this is all going to go right back into that same bin. Isn't that great? And now I have beautiful, beautiful castings. This is the kind of material you'll get with this kind of sifter. And I am just thrilled. I'm going to go over this a little bit just to make sure I didn't miss any baby worms. I probably did. They're so tiny that they easily get through. But for the majority, they have migrated, and so this will sit here covered. Of course, I have a cover right here, and I put a plastic bag over it so it gets some air, but it doesn't dry out. And then once it's filled till about here, I will wheel it out into my garden and put it in my plants. So it's really great. I don't think that if your material is wet, you'll be able to sift it with this kind of sifter. So it's always nice to keep the material flaky, moist, but not wet. Or if you're the kind of person who just wants to pass the sifting altogether, you can do bait cups and bait your worms out. You can even do it here. You can put bait cups in here if you missed any worms, if there are cocoons. You can do bait cups if you're willing for the material to sit for at least 2-3 months. Then the cocoons will hatch and probably will make their way to the bait cups, and you can bait them out. So you don't have to sift if you don't want to. I enjoy doing that. So this is what my castings are going to look like now once I'm done. And this material, I'm going to go right now, put it back into the bin. As you can see, it is just bedding. So we are done with the harvest, and it's amazing how much that just 10-gallon, well, actually it was 14-gallon, honestly, but it was like not even halfway full. So you can see how many castings I get from that. It's just amazing. So that's my update for the 1001 red wiggler cocoons and the harvest. Hope you enjoyed, and we shall see you soon. Thanks for joining me.